All right, so we're going to take a look at absolute value. I'm just going to abbreviate this whenever I rewrite it. All right, so the absolute value is just the distance to zero. Okay, so let's consider that on a number line. And give you a -3 and a +3 with a 0 in the middle. We're actually just looking at the jumps, the distance that it takes us to get there. 3. 1, 2, 3. 3. Either way, from -3 or from 3, it's just the distance to 0. Okay? Absolute value will never be negative. Okay? Let's also look at the symbol that goes with absolute value. If I can draw a straight line here. Just two straight lines. And this is the symbol. Okay? Now we don't want to actually treat this symbol as we would with like parentheses. Whereas if we have parentheses, we would distribute the parentheses through in this manner. We definitely don't want to do this. Okay? Let's also take a look at the inequality rules. And its symbols. So we have less than and greater than. Then we have less than equal to and greater than equal to. Now it's going to be important to use these symbols because with less than and a greater than, it's going to be an open circle or a dashed line, depending on how you're graphing it, a dashed line. Greater than equal to, less than equal to is going to be a closed circle or a solid line. Okay, and we're going to be recording our answers in interval notation. And we'll take a look at some of these examples, interval notation, but it's so important to understand vocabulary with math. So with interval notation, we're using the endpoints, okay? And we're always going to write endpoints from least to greatest. Okay. Also understanding what are we going to use with the endpoints. So we're going to have brackets. We're also going to be using parentheses. Now we're going to use brackets when it is the values is included. Okay, and that's going to be with greater than, less than, and equal to. We're going to use parentheses when the values are not included. And that's less than or greater than. We will also use parentheses when we're dealing with infinity. Okay, and writing infinity is negative infinity. And to me, it's just like a sideways 8 and positive infinity. You will always use parentheses for infinity. Let's take a visual approach to this. The question is this possible when it comes to absolute value? Is this possible? So if I give you this, I think the first step is really understanding what does that mean in words. So let's write that in words. X is the distance. Of 9 units. to 0. Okay? And is this possible to solve? Yes. Now, if we take a look at this one, is this one going to be possible to solve? Something we talk about is this negative number, dealing with absolute value. This one is not going to be possible to solve. Another one we could take a look at is just x is equal to 0. Is this possible? Yes. All right. So let's put some of these on a number line to see how we would write it in row notation. So x is greater than or equal to 5. On a number line, we're just going to put 5. Now, what are we looking at to graph this? The inequality greater than or equal to. Remember from the prior note, it's going to be a closed circle, and we're going to move our arrow in the the direction that greater than or equal to is pointing to, which is infinity. So to write this, because it's a closed circle, we're going to put it inside of a bracket because we're including that value of 5. And we're going from least to greatest, so we're going from 5 to infinity. And infinity, again, is always a parenthesis. X is less than or equal to 3. We'll put 3 on the number line. Take a look at our inequality. It's less than or equal to, so that's a closed circle. We're going to draw our arrow in a direction that is going towards X. And we're going to work from least to greatest. See, on the number line, these are your negative numbers. And these are going to be your positive numbers. So we're going to go with negative infinity. And we're going to do a 3 with a closed bracket, including the 3 because of the circle, and a less than or equal to sign. Another example is x is greater than 4. 4 on a number line. Looking at the inequality, it's going to be an open circle, moving in the direction of infinity, written in interval notation. Because it's an open circle, we're going to use a parentheses. 4, infinity, parentheses. Take a look at another one going in the opposite direction. We're going to do a 6, open circle, direction of negative infinity. Writing it from least to greatest, we'll start with negative infinity with the parentheses and a 6 with the parentheses because it's an open circle. Okay, we have a negative 6, that's equal to x, less than 2. How will we put two values on a line? Well, we'll just start with the negative 6 here and the 2. Closed circle for this inequality, open circle for this inequality. Bring those two together and writing it in interval notation. It's going to be a closed bracket, negative 6, 2 with the parentheses because it's an open circle. Okay, for another example, let's do negative 3 x then equal to 5. You give that a try to graph it. Open circle, negative 3. circle 5. Join them together. Interval notation is going to be -3, comma 5 with a bracket. Okay, let's look at this one. All right, putting this one on the number line as well. We have our -5 with the open circle out, and a 3, the closed circle, heading into infinity. And I'm just going to clean this up so you can see it clearly that this is an open circle. Okay? And we will write this as a negative infinity, because we're going from least to greatest, to -5, with a union of, close bracket, 3, comma infinity. And union stands for or. Okay. And the last graph that you may encounter for Algebra 2 would be the full graph and understanding what the parent function looks like. Parent function is always going to include starting and origin. It's how it looked without any transformations. So absolute value is going to be a v. Y is going to be equal to the absolute value of x. Now to label the domain and range, we know the domain is our x values. So our x value is positive. This is just going to keep going. And negative, it just keeps going out. It's going to be all real numbers. And for our range, we're going to include 0, and our range is going to continue to go in a greater than equal to. So it deals with our y values, and range is going to be equal to y is greater than or equal to 0. That's it.